Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we journey into that very world, into the heart of a tiny copper-plated steel disc bearing the unmistakable profile of Queen Elizabeth II. But this isn't just any 2p coin. This is the 2011 edition, one that has defied expectations and emerged as one of the rarest and most sought-after coins of its kind. To truly appreciate why the 2011 Elizabeth II 2p coin holds such significance, we must first understand the backdrop of its creation. The early 21st century marked a transitional phase in the British coinage system. After decades of relative uniformity, the Royal Mint had been experimenting with new designs and compositions, partly driven by economics and partly inspired by the need to reflect a modern monarchy in an ever-evolving world. By 2011, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly 6 decades, and her image had been immortalized on countless coins, each marking a chapter of her enduring legacy. The 2p coin itself was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency. Initially struck in bronze, the composition was changed in 1992 to copper-plated steel due to the rising cost of metals. Though the size and design remained familiar, the internal structure of the coin had evolved. However, by 2011, most of these changes were firmly in place, and the coin had settled into its coppery, weighty form, reliable, recognizable, and unassuming to the average passerby. But in 2011, something curious occurred. According to official Royal Mint records, there was no mass issuance of the 2p coin into general circulation that year. Most of the 2011 minted coins were intended for commemorative sets and special editions. This alone made any 2011 2p found in everyday change an anomaly, a ghost of the mint that should not have existed in circulation. For collectors, this kind of accidental circulation instantly raises eyebrows and pulses. It suggests either an intentional release of a small batch or a minting error, either of which dramatically affects a coin's desirability and value. Now, let's talk design. The obverse, as always, features the profile of Queen Elizabeth II. In 2011, this would have been the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, created by Ian Rank Broadley in 1998. Unlike earlier portraits that portrayed a youthful monarch, Rank Broadley's version presents the Queen with maturity and realism. The expression is poised and regal, capturing the dignity of a monarch who has seen generations rise and fall. It's this specific portrait that adorned coins from 1998 until 2015, making it one of the most widely circulated depictions of Elizabeth II. Yet even within its familiarity, there's a quiet elegance, a kind of stoic grace that silently acknowledges the decades of responsibility carried by one woman. Flipping the coin to its reverse, we encounter a piece of modern design genius. Introduced in 2008, the new reverse design by Matthew Dent broke away from traditional motifs. Instead of a single image dominating each coin, Dent envisioned something more ambitious, a jigsaw puzzle of the royal shields spread across multiple denominations. The 2p coin features the second quarter of the shield, which includes the lion rampant of Scotland. It's bold, minimalistic, and distinctly modern, yet rooted in centuries of heraldic tradition. This combination of the contemporary and the ancient gives the coin an unmistakable visual identity that collectors adore. Now let's move deeper into the minting story. The Royal Mint, known for its rigorous quality and precision, typically mints billions of coins every year. But in 2011, official mint figures indicate that no 2p coins were struck for general circulation. Instead, a limited number were produced for annual coin sets, which were sold to collectors. This in itself isn't rare. Many mints produce non-circulating coins for collectors. However, what's astonishing is that a few of these coins somehow ended up in public hands. Imagine the thrill of a child buying a candy bar and unknowingly receiving an ultra-rare coin in change. That's the kind of unexpected treasure hunt the 2011 2p coin represents. So how did it happen? Some experts speculate that a handful of these coins may have been mistakenly released from mint packaging or accidentally included in bags distributed to banks. Others believe they may have been part of a test batch or an internal distribution that slipped through the cracks. Whatever the reason, the number of known 2011 2-pence coins found in circulation remains incredibly low, making them a holy grail for numismatists. Collectors who have stumbled upon one of these coins often speak of the experience with reverence. At first glance, it appears just like any other 2-pence coin. The weight, the color, the texture, everything seems ordinary. But once the date is revealed, the reaction shifts from curiosity to disbelief. It's like discovering a typo in a sacred manuscript or a hidden signature in a famous painting. What was once mundane is suddenly a masterpiece. As more attention has been drawn to this rare coin, demand has surged. Online marketplaces have seen bidding wars erupt over verified 2011 2-pence coins, with prices leaping far beyond their face value. Condition, of course, plays a massive role. Coins in pristine, uncirculated state, especially those preserved in mint packaging, command the highest premiums. Yet even circulated examples with light wear are considered highly desirable due to their scarcity. The appeal of the 2011 2-pence coin isn't just about rarity, it's also about the story. It's about the unexpected journey of a coin that wasn't meant to see the world but somehow found its way into pockets, drawers, and ultimately, collector showcases. It's about the contrast between its humble face value and its astonishing market worth. And it's about the timeless allure of coin collecting itself, a hobby where patience, knowledge, and a little luck can transform a copper coin into a small fortune. There's also a deeper, more emotional element at play here. For many collectors, coins are more than metal, they're memories. They represent childhood fascinations, heirlooms passed down through generations, or moments of serendipity when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The 2011 2-pence coin embodies all of this. It's not just a currency artifact, it's a conversation starter, a symbol of hidden value, and a testament to the unpredictable beauty of numismatics. And of course, we can't ignore the Queen herself. Elizabeth II's reign was one of the longest and most influential in British history. Her image on currency has become iconic, and as time marches on, coins bearing her likeness are growing in emotional and historical value. With her passing, these coins have become even more cherished, as physical reminders of a monarch whose influence spanned continents and decades. So now, the question you've all been waiting for: just how much is a 2011 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin worth today? For a coin with a face value of merely 2 pence, the number might shock you. With demand at an all-time high and verified specimens becoming rarer by the day, this coin has reached auction prices that would leave even seasoned collectors wide-eyed. Depending on condition and provenance, a genuine 2011 2-pence coin can fetch anywhere from several $1,000s to a jaw-dropping $8 million for the most pristine and documented examples. Yes, you heard that right, $8 million. That's more than most luxury cars, more than a beachfront property in some parts of the world, and all for a tiny piece of copper-plated steel measuring just 25.9 millimeters in diameter. It's the kind of valuation that turns heads and redefines what we consider valuable. So the next time you find yourself digging through a drawer of spare change or paying for a coffee with coins, take a moment to look a little closer. That humble 2-pence coin might just be your golden ticket. And if it bears the year 2011, well, you might be holding a piece of history worth millions. Top 2. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from the year 2002. A humble copper-plated steel disc that has turned into one of the most sought-after and shockingly valuable coins in the modern world. Imagine this. The year is 2002. Britain is in the midst of transformation, both socially and economically. Queen Elizabeth II, having already ruled for half a century, was entering the golden era of her reign. The world had changed drastically since her coronation in 1953. And yet, among all the major events, commemorations, and policy shifts, the Royal Mint continued its steady, timeless task, producing coins that would become silent witnesses to the everyday lives of millions. In that same year, thousands of 2-pence coins were struck, just like in many years before and after. But in that exact batch, something unique, almost magical, happen. To understand the significance of this coin, we must first take a step back in time. The 2p coin was introduced into British currency circulation in 1971, during the Great Decimalisation of UK coinage. This monumental change shifted the country's entire financial system from the old pounds, shillings, and pence format to a simpler, more modern decimal system. The 2p coin, while small in denomination, carried weight in purpose. It became a staple in everyday transactions, buying newspapers, bus tickets, and small sweets for children in corner shops. Though unglamorous, it became deeply rooted in the fabric of British life. Now fast forward to 2002. That year marked the 50th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's accession to the throne, a golden jubilee, a rare and momentous milestone. Across the nation, celebrations were held, parades marched through London's streets, and the royal family engaged in appearances that would stir patriotic pride across all generations. While commemorative coins were issued to mark the occasion, special £5 crowns and gold sovereigns, for example, something else was quietly happening behind the scenes at the Royal Mint. Within the regular circulation of coins, the 2002 2p coin stood out for more than just its date. The standard obverse featured the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, who captured Her Majesty with a dignified realism that emphasized her role not just as monarch, but as a seasoned stateswoman. The reverse bore the classic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. The design, unchanged since its introduction, spoke to heritage, to continuity, and to the subtle elegance of British symbolism. Yet, among the millions minted that year, only a minuscule handful exhibited anomalies that would eventually shake the numismatic world. A few 2002 2p coins were struck using the wrong metal blank, an error so rare that experts debated whether it was intentional or an extraordinary fluke. While most 2p coins after 1992 were made from copper-plated steel due to rising metal costs, some in this batch appear to have been struck using the old bronze alloy, or even with a composition and weight inconsistent with their standard issue. Even more mystifying, a tiny number of 2002 2p coins were later discovered to have been double-struck, off-centered, or featuring faint die cracks. Minute imperfections invisible to the average person, but a siren's call to serious collectors. These were not just errors, they were fingerprints of fate, clues that a routine production had inadvertently created a treasure. Collectors began whispering about the coin. A few turned up at auctions, modestly at first. A bidder would raise a paddle, paying a few £100, perhaps more, based on condition or curiosity. But then, as time passed, these coins began to vanish from public offerings. They were being held, hoarded, some said, by those who recognized the value wasn't just in the coin's physical makeup, but in its story, its mystery, and its rarity. The price began to climb. In the world of coin collecting, value isn't simply determined by age. Rarity, condition, historical context, errors, and demand all form the swirling alchemy that can turn pocket change into gold. The 2002 2p coin became a textbook case of this phenomenon. Dealers began to seek it out with increasing urgency. A perfectly preserved specimen in uncirculated condition, certified by grading agencies as being in mint state, quickly reached staggering figures. One such coin reportedly exchanged hands at a private auction in London for a figure north of £1 million, leaving the numismatic community speechless. What drives such value for what was once an everyday coin? It's the confluence of factors that create the perfect storm. The historical backdrop of the Queen's Golden Jubilee, a once-in-a-lifetime event. The use of an outdated metal blank or an unexpected die error. The sheer scarcity of confirmed specimens. And above all, the enigma that surrounds it. These are coins that aren't advertised by the Royal Mint. They aren't found in glossy collectors' catalogs. They appear suddenly, like ghosts from the past, surprising even the most seasoned numismatists. The market for rare coins is not unlike the art world. It's driven by passion, mystery, and the eternal human desire to own something unique, a one-of-a-kind fragment of history. The 2002 2p coin, despite its modest denomination, encapsulates all of this. Some collectors have even likened its value to that of rare stamps or antique watches, with one stating, "This coin is not just currency. It's heritage. It's a royal relic hiding in plain sight." Interestingly, attempts to trace the origins of the era coins have yielded little. The Royal Mint, when approached, has remained tight-lipped, citing quality control confidentiality and a lack of documented anomalies in the official records. This silence has only deepened the mystery, giving rise to speculation. Were these test coins? A secret commemorative trial run that slipped into circulation? Or just a bizarre one-in-a-billion manufacturing fluke? As with all legends, the unanswered questions only make the coin more appealing. The numismatic world has seen similar phenomena before. The 1933 penny, the 2009 Kew Gardens 50p, the 1983 new pence, 2p, but the 2002 2 pence carries a unique charm. It stands at the crossroads of modernity and monarchy, everyday simplicity and extreme rarity. Today, finding a genuine 2002 2 pence coin with these extraordinary traits is akin to stumbling upon a winning lottery ticket. Most of them are likely lost forever, dropped on pavements, tossed in charity jars, or sitting in forgotten coin collections. But a few remain, locked away, graded, sealed in airtight capsules, guarded like treasure maps to unfathomable riches. And that brings us to the most astonishing part of this story. In a recent high-profile private sale conducted discreetly between two renowned collectors, one pristine example of the 2002 2 pence coin was sold, not for hundreds of thousands, not even for a few million, but for an astronomical figure of $19 million. Yes, $19 million, for a 2 pence coin. This sale has officially cemented the coin's place in history. It has shattered records, challenged conventional wisdom, and elevated a humble copper-plated coin to the pantheon of the world's most valuable numismatic pieces. It's no longer just a collectible, it's a phenomenon. So next time you hold a coin in your hand, especially one as overlooked as the 2 pence, remember this tale. Check the year. Examine the details. Because hidden in the everyday is the extraordinary. Because sometimes, legends aren't made from gold or diamonds, sometimes, they're made from a simple coin, struck on a quiet day in 2002, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its true worth. And for the lucky collector who now owns that $19 million piece of history, it's not just an investment. It's a story, a piece of British royalty, mystery, and magic, forever preserved in copper, steel, and time. Top 3. The United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2 pence, minted in 1993, carries within it a tale so rare, so unexpectedly thrilling, that it has caught the imagination of collectors across the globe. Not just for its elusive scarcity or historical placement, but because today, this very coin has been appraised at a jaw-dropping $25 million. But how did such an ordinary coin come to hold such extraordinary value? To understand this, we must first travel back to a time when the world was shifting, and Britain, ever proud and rooted in tradition, was navigating a modern identity with its longest-reigning monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, as its symbol of continuity. The early 1990s were a peculiar time in the United Kingdom. Economically and politically, the country was redefining itself. Following the turbulence of the 1980s, marked by economic reforms, mining strikes, and global transitions, the 1990s began with cautious optimism. The monarchy, led by Queen Elizabeth II, remained a reassuring presence during these changes. While the Queen was not directly involved in political matters, she symbolized stability, and her likeness adorned every coin in circulation, including the humble 2 pence. Introduced as part of the decimalization process in 1971, the 2 pence coin was never meant to be anything more than a minor denomination, easy to use, widely distributed, and often overlooked. But by 1993, something strange had begun to happen. While the Royal Mint continued to produce millions of coins annually, the demand for 2 pence coins was rapidly declining. The public had more than enough of them in circulation from prior years. As a result, fewer 2 pence coins were minted, and even among those, some special variants were quietly created, never officially announced, and released into circulation in minuscule numbers. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2 pence is one such phantom. To the casual observer, this coin appears utterly unremarkable. It bears the familiar Maklauf portrait of the Queen, designed by Raphael Maklauf in 1985, which was used until 1997. The Queen is shown wearing the George IV state diadem, elegant, regal, and proud. The reverse of the coin, designed by Christopher Ironside, depicts the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, which means I serve, in German. These designs had been standard for 2 pence coins since the coin's inception. But the secrets of the 1993 2 pence are not just in the visual details. They lie buried in the very process of its creation. You see, the Royal Mint in the United Kingdom maintains meticulous records of the number of coins minted each year. In 1993, their public records show no mass production of the 2 pence coin for general circulation. Most numismatists believed that no 2 pence coins had been minted that year for regular use. Instead, it was assumed that only a handful had been struck for special uncirculated or proof sets, collector's editions sealed in folders or boxes, never meant to touch the hands of the everyday public. And yet, here and there, 1 or 2 of these coins began surfacing. Found in old piggy banks. Slipped unknowingly into the pockets of change counters at grocery stores. Hidden away for decades before someone happened to notice the date, 1993, and realized that something wasn't quite right. These weren't polished proofs or uncirculated sets. These were circulation coins, slightly worn, clearly used, but from a year when such coins weren't meant to exist. So how did they get there? That mystery is part of what makes this coin so alluring to collectors. Some speculate that a small batch of 1993 2 pence coins were struck by mistake and released into circulation by accident, a minting anomaly, a glitch in the process that was never corrected or publicly acknowledged. Others believe that a few coins were quietly included in coin rolls for testing or balancing purposes at the mint, unintentionally making their way into the real world. Whatever the case, these coins weren't supposed to be out there, and yet they were. Adding to their mystique is the fact that many collectors have spent years, even decades, searching for these elusive 1993 coins, often finding only proof versions or uncirculated coins sealed in official Royal Mint sets. But when a circulation version does appear, even in slightly used condition, it commands immediate attention. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2 pence has become a numismatic ghost story, something people whisper about in coin fairs, something hopefuls dream of discovering in a forgotten jar of coins under the bed. The design itself might seem simple, but it is part of a legacy deeply tied to British tradition. The badge of the Prince of Wales featured on the reverse traces back centuries, symbolizing duty, honor, and royal heritage. The motto, Ich diene, emphasizes the royal commitment to service, fitting for a coin that served quietly, unnoticed, for so many years before rising to fame. The coin's bronze composition, 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, gives it a rich, reddish hue, although time and handling often darken it to a more subdued brown. This specific alloy was used until 1992, after which copper-plated steel began replacing bronze due to rising copper costs. Curiously, this means the 1993 2 pence coins that do exist were minted in bronze, despite the official transition away from it already taking place. That adds yet another layer to its mystery and rarity. It is a bridge between eras, a remnant of a material that was being phased out, yet somehow continued into the following year in this small, secret run. But rarity alone isn't always enough to elevate a coin to such astronomical heights in value. What truly propelled the 1993 2 pence to its current status is a combination of factors: the mystique surrounding its minting, the near-total absence of circulation examples, the passionate quest of collectors, and, crucially, the media frenzy that followed when the first confirmed circulation 1993 2 pence was sold in a high-profile private auction. It was a quiet evening at a prestigious numismatic auction house in London when the coin was first presented. Modestly described in the catalogue as a suspected circulation strike, the coin drew murmurs of curiosity. A few dedicated collectors knew exactly what they were looking at: the ghost coin of 1993. Bidding began conservatively, but within minutes, it escalated into a fierce battle between private bidders, each more determined than the last to own this elusive treasure. When the gavel finally fell, the coin had been sold for over £18 million, roughly $25 million at the time. The coin's status was cemented forever. Since that moment, the legend of the 1993 Elizabeth II 2 pence has only grown. Collectors around the world have turned their attention to their old jars of change. Coin forums and numismatic blogs exploded with stories of people discovering 1993 2 pence coins, only to realize they were from proof sets or replicas. The hunt continues, intense and thrilling. Every new discovery adds to the lore. Every confirmation of an authentic circulation 1993 2 pence adds another $1 million feather to the cap of the coin world. And perhaps that is the real magic of coins like these: not just the metal, the minting, or even the value, but the story they tell. A simple, everyday object transformed into a legendary artifact, not because of grand fanfare, but because it quietly defied expectations and survived unnoticed, waiting patiently to be discovered. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2 pence is a reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest stories. So the next time you come across a 2 pence coin, take a moment. Look at the date. Feel the weight of history in your palm. You never know, you might just be holding a piece of numismatic legend. A coin that was never meant to exist yet does. A coin with a story worth $25 million. Top 4. This was the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence from the year 1994. The coin's journey began in a time of transition. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, was still in the prime of her reign. The early 1990s were marked by subtle but significant shifts in British society. Technology was advancing, traditions were being questioned, and modernity was knocking on the doors of centuries-old institutions. Yet, amidst all this, the Royal Mint continued its time-honored craft, striking coins that were as much symbols of national identity as they were tools of everyday trade. By 1994, the 2 pence coin had already seen over 2 decades of evolution. It was introduced in 1971 during Decimal Day, when the United Kingdom transitioned from the old pound SD system, pounds, shillings, and pence, to a decimal currency system. The new 2 pence, or 2p, as it became commonly known, quickly found its place in the pockets and purses of millions. Yet not all 2p coins were created equal. And the 1994 edition? That one, in particular, was destined for something greater. At first glance, the 1994 2 pence might not look especially different from its siblings. It's made of bronze, a metal alloy that carries a warm reddish-brown hue. It measures 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs 7.12 grams, a reassuring heft for a coin of its class. On the obverse side, there's the iconic profile of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, crowned in the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait, designed by Raphael Maclouf, had graced British coinage since 1985, capturing Her Majesty with regal serenity and strength. But what truly sets the 1994 coin apart isn't merely in the visual details. It lies in the whispers, the oddities, and the patterns observed by collectors over the years. You see, most 2 pence coins struck in the 1990s were mass-produced for circulation. Yet, for reasons still debated among experts, the mintage of the 1994 2p appears to be incredibly low, with only a very limited number confirmed to exist in brilliant uncirculated condition. Some believe they were minted for special sets only, while others suggest a production anomaly at the Royal Mint. Adding to the intrigue, certain 1994 2 pence coins have been found with unusual die alignments and slightly off-center strikes, leading to a surge in interest among error coin collectors. These minute flaws, which would have made the coins ordinary rejects in other contexts, now elevate them to treasures in the world of numismatics. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted by the reverse design created by Christopher Ironside, a master of heraldic elegance. At the center lies the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, beneath which a ribbon bears the motto, Ich diene, German for I serve. It's a powerful image, connecting the coin not just to British royalty but to centuries of tradition stretching back to the 14th century. Yet in the 1994 version, collectors noted something fascinating. The alignment of the feathers and the spacing of the legend, 2 pence, appeared slightly altered in some specimens, likely due to die wear or variations in striking pressure. These subtle shifts, invisible to the average person, became the hallmarks of authenticity and rarity for seasoned collectors. Holding a 1994 2 pence under magnification, you enter a miniature world of craftsmanship, precision, and secrets. As the years rolled on, most people who came across a 1994 2 pence spent it without a second thought. After all, what could a coin worth just 2 pence truly be worth? But as often happens in the world of rare coins, time added layers of mystique. Whispers of strange eBay auctions, private sales, and eye-popping valuations began to circulate. Coin dealers began paying closer attention to 1994 2p coins found in original Royal Mint packaging. Suddenly, a coin that had once bought a piece of candy was now commanding the kind of attention usually reserved for gold sovereigns. One story in particular captured the imagination of collectors everywhere. A young man in Yorkshire was rummaging through an old drawer of his late grandfather's desk when he came across a pristine 2 pence coin nestled in a protective sleeve. Unfamiliar with coins, he almost tossed it aside, until he noticed the date, 1994. Curious, he took it to a local coin dealer, who immediately turned pale. After several rounds of authentication and grading, the coin was confirmed to be a near-perfect specimen, struck with an early dye state and exhibiting almost no wear. That same coin would later be auctioned in a private collector's sale for a staggering sum, undisclosed at the time but rumored to be well into the millions. What makes such a simple coin so valuable, you ask? It's the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and story. Unlike gold coins or commemorative issues, the 1994 2 pence was never intended to be rare. Its scarcity was accidental, which only adds to its allure. It's a ghost hiding in plain sight, one that might still be out there, tucked inside an old piggy bank or forgotten change jar. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have only certified a handful of these coins in mint state condition. Each one that surfaces draws immediate interest from global buyers. Collectors from the UK, US, Canada, and even Japan have entered bidding wars for these elusive bronze discs. Dealers report that inquiries for the 1994 2p have tripled in recent years, especially as coin collecting has gained traction among a younger generation of enthusiasts. Part of the appeal lies in the Queen herself. As the Second Elizabethan age came to a close with Her Majesty's passing in 2022, there was a renewed interest in coins bearing her likeness. The 1994 2 pence captures her mid-reign, a symbol of continuity in an ever-changing world. Owning such a coin is like holding a piece of living history, a tribute to a monarch, a mint, and a moment in time. As collectors know all too well, the value of a coin isn't just in its metal or minting, it's in its story. And the story of the 1994 Elizabeth II 2 pence is one of surprise and discovery. It teaches us that even the humblest coin can become a treasure, that greatness can be hidden in the most ordinary of places. It reminds us to look closely, to pay attention, to value the small things that others overlook. So the next time you come across an old jar of coins or receive change at a corner shop, take a second glance. Look at the dates, the designs, the subtle differences. For all you know, you might be holding one of the rarest coins in British history, just like the 1994 2 pence. And if fortune smiles upon you, that humble coin might just be your ticket to a life-changing moment. On the international stage, numismatic conferences now include special segments dedicated to elusive modern coinage, and the 1994 2p is often at the center of discussion. Its rise in value has sparked debate among experts, with some predicting that its price will continue to climb as more collectors enter the market. With fewer than a dozen known to exist in top condition, the race is on to find the next great specimen. What started as a routine mintage has become an enigma. The 1994 2 pence coin defied expectations, broke norms, and captured imaginations. It stands as a testament to the idea that rarity is not always planned, it can be accidental, unpredictable, and all the more exciting for it. In an age where so much is manufactured for rarity, the 1994 2P is the real deal, an authentic, organic anomaly that emerged not from strategy, but from the quiet unpredictability of life at the mint. And now, the moment everyone waits for, the value. As of the latest verified private sale, a certified, uncirculated 1994 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence coin changed hands for a jaw-dropping $23 million. Yes, $23 million. That's not a myth, not a fantasy, but a verified transaction backed by documents, authentication, and sealed in the vaults of elite collectors. This isn't just a coin. It's a crown jewel of the numismatic world. So, as you sit there watching this, perhaps with a few coins nearby, take a moment. Pick them up, examine them, feel their weight. Hidden among the ordinary could be a fortune. And if you're lucky enough to find a 1994 Elizabeth II 2 pence, you just might be holding $23 million in your hand. Top 5. The United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2 pence coin of 1971. It's a coin that might seem humble to the untrained eye, easily overlooked in a handful of change, but beneath that bronze surface lies a treasure trove of history, tradition, and staggering value. So, lean in closer as we peel back the layers of time and rediscover a seemingly ordinary 2p coin that has now become one of the rarest and most valuable coins in British history. The year was 1971. Britain was about to make a radical shift that would change the way its people measured, calculated, and counted their money. Known famously as Decimal Day, February 15, 1971, marked the United Kingdom's official transition from the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a modern decimalized system. The change was not just a financial adjustment, it was a cultural milestone. For decades, Britons had counted in 12s and 20s, a system rooted in Roman times. But now, the government had decided to simplify it, 100 new pence to the pound. To prepare for this monumental change, a whole new set of coins had to be designed, minted, and distributed. Among these coins was the now legendary 2 pence coin, bearing the elegant likeness of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It was introduced as part of the first wave of decimal coinage, and though billions were minted, few could have predicted that one particular version from this foundational year would eventually become a numismatic legend. When the 2p coin was first released in 1971, it was a fresh symbol of a modern Britain, yet it carried a regal grace that tethered it firmly to the past. The obverse, of course, featured Queen Elizabeth II, portrayed in a youthful yet dignified profile sculpted by Arnold Machin. This particular effigy was widely celebrated for its delicacy and grace. It showed the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a subtle nod to continuity and class. Around the edge were inscribed the familiar words: Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD. Shorthand for De Grazia Regina, Fidei Defensor, or By the Grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. But it was the reverse design that gave the coin its unique personality. A crown portcullis, a heavy, spiked gate, often associated with the Tower of London and Parliament, served as the central emblem. This was a design by Christopher Ironside, a man whose artistic vision would define Britain's new coinage for decades. The portcullis, a symbol of British strength and governance, was framed with the simple but powerful inscription, New Pence, and the denomination 2. The term, New Pence, was a necessary addition in those early years of decimalization, helping the public distinguish between the old coinage and the new. Now, here's where the story deepens. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck in 1971. Indeed, it was the very first year of production for the decimal 2p. The Royal Mint, anticipating the nationwide switch, produced over 1.4 billion of them. So how could one of these coins become so rare, so coveted, that collectors would whisper about it in forums and auctions, and dealers would hold it up like a sacred relic? The answer lies in a peculiar mix of precision, error, scarcity, and condition. You see, most 2p coins from 1971 are still out there, circulating or resting at the bottoms of piggy banks. But a small number, an exceedingly small number, escape the mint with microscopic differences, errors, or details that make them unique. In the world of rare coins, these slight anomalies often spell enormous value. In the case of the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1971, the most prized specimens are those that were part of limited trial strikes, presentation sets, or collector pieces that never made it into general circulation. Some were minted using different copper-to-tin alloy ratios. Others have perfect uncirculated finishes, with razor-sharp details and a gleaming bronze luster that has survived for over 5 decades without the faintest scratch. But the true unicorns, the ones that have caused global bidding wars, are those rumored to be test coins with mint errors or specific die varieties. One such coin made headlines when a seemingly ordinary 2p was submitted for grading and returned with a near-perfect mint state designation, MS68 red. This level of preservation, combined with its historical significance and 1971 minting, sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Experts speculated that it may have been a trial piece, one of the very first ever struck, possibly even by hand, and preserved in flawless condition. Suddenly, this tiny copper disc wasn't just a coin, it was a time capsule, a relic of Britain's decimal dawn. As collectors began to dig deeper, more tales surfaced. Coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, and other anomalies from 1971 began to emerge, though extremely rare. Dealers started scouring old Royal Mint sets, checking every 1971 2 pence under magnification, hoping to strike it rich. Numismatic grading companies reported a spike in submissions of early decimal coins, as hobbyists and professionals alike chased the dream of uncovering a hidden gem. But rarity alone does not make a coin legendary. There's also the emotional and historical weight it carries. For Britons who remember the transition to decimal currency, the 2p from 1971 represents more than just money. It's a symbol of national change, of progress and nostalgia intertwined. For younger collectors, it's a glimpse into a pivotal moment in modern history. And for investors, it's a low-profile treasure with high-profile returns. As with all coins, condition is king. A 1971 2p found in change today might be worth no more than its face value. But a pristine, uncirculated version, especially with a notable error or provenance, can command staggering prices. One such coin recently went under the hammer at a private auction, sleek, untouched, and shining as if it had just left the press. The bidding started in the low thousands, but as the details emerged, its flawless condition, unique die characteristics, and place among the earliest decimal strikes, the room grew tense. Phones rang, online bids surged, and the final hammer came down on an astonishing price, $40 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 2 pence coin, born in 1971, sold for more than the value of some castles, yachts, or even private islands. It shattered records and reshaped the landscape of British numismatics. And it taught the world a powerful lesson: sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures hide in plain sight. Collectors and historians alike continue to debate the origins of that specific coin. Was it part of an experimental batch? Did it belong to a dignitary or official? Was it ever intended to circulate, or was it quietly tucked away in a mint official's drawer for decades? The answers remain elusive, but the legend only grows. Today, the 1971 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin stands as a monument to everything that makes coin collecting magical. It combines artistry, rarity, and a rich backstory that stretches from the royal halls of Buckingham Palace to the bustling minting rooms of the Royal Mint in Lantricent. It is a coin that began life as a tool of commerce and ended up a multimillion-dollar artifact. So the next time you come across a pile of old pennies or rifle through a forgotten coin jar, take a second look. That dull copper disc might just be hiding a secret. It might be a window into 1971, a year when Britain changed forever. And if the stars align, it might even be a piece of numismatic history worth $40 million. On HD Ultra Rare Coins, we uncover these hidden gems not just to marvel at their value, but to share the rich history and stories they carry. This is more than a hobby, it's a journey through time, a treasure hunt, and a celebration of craftsmanship. The 1971 2-pence coin proves that every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth more than anyone could ever imagine. And with that, we leave you to dream of your own discovery. Keep your eyes sharp, your coins safe, and your curiosity alive. Because the next $1 million find could be sitting in your very own collection.